Hi, everyone. Welcome to this lovely conversation or discussion with my. See, I have a new co host, guys. Her name is Layale. Olua Layale. Say hi, everyone, Mama. Say hi. She's camera ready, but she doesn't want to show herself. Is it left? To my left is her beautiful mom. Her name is Olayinka Oyedeji.
Hello.
When I was thinking about it and I shared it with you, you were like, you know what, you would like us to talk about it, which I'm thinking. So growing up, I understood that my mom used to like, and okay, I would say my parents used to like pay school fees in advance. Like they were always like first time, second time, third time. So they didn't have to always go back to school. But right now, when I gave birth, it was a different scenario where someone was talking about RESP, someone was talking about retirement. I'm like, you young girl, like baby girl is still popping, guys. So I was thinking, why is it important right now that she just clocked 1 2 days ago? So in my head, I'm thinking, why should you start saving that money when if the time she's going to school, just like our parents used to do, even though they saved, but I don't believe that my mom was saving from when I was like zero up, had a bank account for me, right?
Yeah.
So why is it very important in this environment? For those joining in for the first time, my name is Anna Dejere. Click the subscribe button and the like button so that you can get more mom videos from me, faith-based videos, and much more. But today we're talking about RESP, and she'll be discussing a lot more about it. But before I continue, tell us a little bit about yourself before we go into the conversation.
Okay. Olayinka Oyedeji, and thank you, Anu, for having me on your show. I'm first a scientist, and but aside that, I love money. I love saving money. I love making money. I love spending money. So, if you'd like doing that, definitely you want to get different tips on how to save money and invest in your money, making your money as a tool and making your money work for you. So today, as Anu just talked about, RESP is very important and we'll be digging deep into it. Over to you, Anu.
Okay, so RESP is important because what's the meaning of RESP? Why should people, especially when they come into the country and they feel like, oh, sorry guys, just 1 second. I just want to be sure that okay. So I want to ask, why is it very important? Because when you just give birth, all you're concerned right now for your child is more or less how the child is gonna grow, how many diapers, how many wipes, how many. So I should not be talking about the education of the child at that point. So why should we start from when they're like Lyola's age?
Okay, so in this system, it's not like our regular system back home in Nigeria. Here you need to plan ahead. You need that money because your bills are never waiting for you. So you need to really plan ahead. And one thing about money is that if you just keep the money cash at hand with you, money will fly. Like you just really get something that you use the money for. Even unnecessary things will pop up. But if you have like, okay, I need to save this, I need to put this somewhere aside for my child so that I will not be overwhelmed when that time comes. So I feel one of the main reasons why you should save for your child's education, even when the child is like once the child is born, one thing is just save ahead for the rainy days and also so that you will not be overwhelmed when the time comes.
So, in a system or a culture like this, where we have a lot of people who don't, I've seen people, a lot of people say they're not really interested in going to school. So, what if I save all this money? I might, God forbid, the child says, I don't want the money. I don't want to go to college, or I don't want to, maybe not a Nigerian child. Well, let's imagine the child said, "Okay, mommy, you know what? I want to take 2 years off and do something else. Let's say learn a trade, learn a skill." Because in this environment, trades, oh my god, the amount they're paying people that are in trades is even more than some doctors here. and I'm not kidding. Like
Mm-hmm.
they are earning a lot. So do you think that the system is actually encouraging education, or it's just making us tie more money down to want to give your kids education, but people that don't even have up to that are making more money? So is it a money value or a prestige value of, oh, my son is a doctor, my son is a lawyer, my son's an engineer? How do you balance that?
Okay, so let's clarify some things. RESP is Registered Education Saving Plan. And why it is called registered? Because it's still regulated by the CRA, is regulated by the government of Canada. So, number one, you mentioned that, okay, even though they want to go into trades, those that are in trades here, they still go to a particular school. Like there's a form of education. And RESP is not only for universities, post-secondary.
Okay.
So any post-secondary institution, your RESP can be used.
So if that's it, so the education, so it means that as Africans, is it that we have to change our mindset when it comes to what we call education? Because when I got here is when I knew that, okay, let me give you an example. When I was younger, my mom used to have a salon. So auntie so and so will come and learn how to make hair. This person come and learn how to, they'll do freedom. So you get, it was a normal, it's a life skill, but not like a compulsory life skill. It was something that, oh, this person has the skill, this person has the talent to make hair or whatnot. And the person goes to the shop and does all that. But here, when I got here, it's different. You have to go to hair school if you want to have a salon. You have to write certain exams. You have to get a red seal, like you have to use the blue book. And I'm like, for year Dreza, like sorry guys. But that's how I thought about it until I got here and I saw that this is actually something that will bring more money for people. If you have a salon, you can see up to, I remember that I saw this thing on TikTok where this nail technician per day, she was earning over $1,000.
Wow.
Per day, and she's really good. Eyelash technician, like, and all these people, they go to one form of school. So having the RASP in my head, I'm like, my child's going to be a lawyer, my child is going to be a doctor, and my child says, you know what, I want to go into trades, I want to go to hair school, I want to go to this. How would that pan out for the average African parent right here in Canada?
Okay, so I think we should just take it progressively, like things about RESP, what it entails, and the different types of RESP. So once we know the different types of RESP, then you know the one that would work for you,
okay,
or
so,
for your family.
So teach us.
Okay, so RESP, you have the main players in an RESP is the subscriber, the promoter, and the beneficiary. So the subscriber is the person that registered the RESP. The person can be the parent of the child or the grandparent of the child. And sometimes the person doesn't even need to be related to the child. Then for the promoter is, your bank, your credit union, your investment company, your scholarship planner, dealer, and all of that. Then the beneficiary is the child. But do you know that aside children, you can do an RESP for yourself, for your education. You can do an RESP even for your spouse, like for another adult.
Okay, now I'm learning. I had no clue. I just thought it was for children, and most people use for children. I know the only thing you hear is, I think it was when I got here that I knew that people had student loans, and I'm like, what student loan? If you don't have school fees in Nigeria, you can't. You don't have school fees in Nigeria, you can't even get into anywhere, right? So that was all my mindset when it comes to like education and stuff like that. But you're not talking about in that light, that means that people do you think the awareness is there, like how we're talking about it right now? Do you think we're actually in the African community or in the Black community, do you think the awareness is there when it comes to this particular type of educational opportunities for us?
Well, I feel some parents think of it this way. Some parents say, when it's time, they'll just get the student loan, and they'll get the student loan, and the government will give them the student loan, and they will start paying it when they start working, and all of that. That's one way. But the government is actually encouraging parents to save. And that's why the government will give you incentives. The government will give you incentives because you are saving for your child's education. So the difference between a child RESP and you doing an RESP for yourself is that the government will not give you the incentive as an adult. Okay. So for child RESP, the government would actually give them incentives.
So what are some of those incentives that the government will give?
So we have the CESG, we have the CLB. So for the CLB, you don't even need to put in any money. Just open the RESP for the child, and the government will put in $500. That is if the gross income of the household is lower than $49,000. No, but that's encouraging for new immigrants because definitely is almost sure, 100% sure that your first year in Canada, because you'll be doing the tax will be from your home country, so it won't be up to $49,000. And that's why it's always good to once you get in, as soon as possible, open that RESP for the child. Even if you don't put $1, the government will put in that $500. That's the Canada Learning Bond, the CLB. But for the CESG, that is like a matchup for whatever you put in. So if you put in whatever value, the government will put in 20% of whatever you put in. But that doesn't mean you should now start putting in $10,000 and you feel the government will put in 20%. The government has the maximum. So every year, the maximum the government can put in is $500. And for the lifetime of that plan, the maximum the government can put in is $7,200. But that's still good. That's extra money, free money from the government.
Don't mind me. Did Nigeria give me education when I was in OBMS or UI? So yeah, I think that, and that's one of the reasons why I don't blame people when they want to come abroad for their children to have a better life, because they feel like it's easier for them to get those opportunities that they didn't have as parents, right? And a lot of times for parents, they come with the mindset of, I want my kids to be better than me, so how can I get all these opportunities? And from hearing all these things, they're able to see that, there are actually opportunities out there for them to actually learn on. So you were talking about the three different people or the three different players in the game. So let's continue.
So we're done with the subscriber. Now the promoter, we said the bank. Most people just go to their banks. Most people just assume it's the bank because that's your first place of call. You go there and they tell you about RESP. But there are other places. You have the scholarship plan dealers. They deal with group RESP. So we'll get to the different types of RESP. And you have the credit unions, you have the mutual fund investors, you have the insurance investors. So all these ones also, they are all the promoters. Then the last player is the beneficiary, the person that enjoys that plan. That will be your child or your grandchild or whatever, or whoever you feel, that child that you put in for that particular plan. So let's go to the different types of RESP. You have the individual RESP. So the individual RESP is you put in just one child. It's just for one child or one person. One person can be the beneficiary of the individual RESP. Then for the second one, we have the family RESP. So that's ideal for a family. You have more than one child. You have 2 children, 3 children. So that's a family RESP. So you put in all of them as the beneficiaries. So let me just say a pro for that family RESP is that there's no you can't say, okay, this is the quota for the first child or the second child or the third child. Anyone can make use of that RESP. So let's assume one of them wants to be a doctor. So in medical school, that would definitely use a lot.
That's about $200,000, guys.
So that would be like a lot of money. Then let's assume the second one. I'm not trying to say one job is not as good as the other, but the other one wants to like study music. Definitely a music student would not spend as much as a medical student. So you can actually you can apportion the amounts for different children. That's the family RESP. Then the last one is the group RESP. So this group RESP is only done by scholarship plan dealers. So what they do is children of the same age. So let's assume our little baby here, as she's few months old, people or children of our own age, different children, they pool their money together, then they invest in low risk forms of investments, and they split the money. Well, it's not bad, but the con of that type of plan is that you don't know these people. So if one of them fails in the payment, then
jackpot.
that means your interests on that investment will be reduced. So those are the different types of RESP. So whichever like suits your case or your situation is what would be nice for you to have.
So I have one child now. Can I transfer from individual to family? Or when I have more children, I can just add them to the individual, then the individual becomes family. Is that what it means?
Okay, no. Once you have an individual plan, it has to be just for one child. You can transfer the plan from one child to another. You gave an illustration that what if the child doesn't even want to go to any form of school at all, or the child gets a scholarship, because children get scholarship, and that means they won't use their RESP. So you can transfer whatever you saved to another beneficiary. That is if it is individual, but it has to be one beneficiary per time. But if, as you said, now you have one child and you now have another child, it's best for you to just convert that, like start a family plan, or you have two individual accounts. You could have that.
So what are the pros and cons of that? Because now Jomilojo has an RSP account. So we are saving towards it. But let's say tomorrow morning we have quadruplets, right? How is it better? Is it better for her to have her separate and four of them have one separate account for them, or just transfer from, I think she was saying, or just transfer from your own plan from Jomiloju's plan and say, Jomiloju, you know what, let's transfer yours to them, and we become a family account.
Okay, so one thing you can do is you can leave that. You can have 3-4 multiple RESPs for your child, but there's a lifetime maximum that the government put on it. The lifetime maximum for that plan for a child is $50,000. Your contribution, not even with the interest, not the government incentive, your own contribution for the child. So I don't know how much you are putting in there. So what you can do is you can leave that and start a family plan also, using Jomiloju also as part of the beneficiaries, because a lifetime maximum for each child is $50,000. So you can have multiple RESP for your child. You can put in bank A, credit union B, investor C, but the total must not be more than $50,000 contribution by the parents.
So if it's 50,000 for a lifetime, then what happens when the child? Because in my head, I'm just thinking like, what if I want to put more? What happens?
Okay,
like the medical student now, it's 500,000. Why? How would I put 500,000 or 200,000? Let's say 300,000. So how do I stop at 50,000 when the child needs more?
So that means you have to make use of other registered plans, or you make use of unregistered plans. Do you understand that? Because the 50,000 maximum for a child, why the government has done that, because it's tax free. It's tax-free compounding accounts. So the government knows that if they don't do that, a lot of influential people who want to escape tax
Take advantage of it.
just like your TFSA. That's why there's a limit of 6,000 annually, because they know that if they don't do that, then you you can as well put in $2 million inside one. So that means you need to just use other platforms to save the money,
or just do other investments.
Yeah, to save the money for the child.
Okay, guys. So we're back with a part 2 of this.